Hey, it's Shane from GotRom.com. This video is about the butt and the gut, aka the glutes and the core, and especially what they can do to make your hips more bulletproof. Stay tuned. So in the video you're about to see, I'm going to show you a short sequence of exercises you can do for your glutes and for your core. Now I want you to know this is not just a feel the burn, just do a bunch of reps and kind of half-ass it without paying much attention to what you're doing. This is about developing precise and subtle control over what controls your core, the butt and the gut, or the glutes and the core. So try this routine out, pay subtle attention to what you're feeling in your body, and see how it helps your hip pain and your hip stability in the coming days. Enjoy. The first exercises we're going to start with are for the core. Starting out in a plank position, we're going to work on plank toe taps, where you lift one leg at a time using your glutes and hamstrings. And the goal here is to keep your pelvis as stable as possible while your legs are going either out to the side or up and down. You can also take your feet a little bit wider and do reaches with your arms. And again, the goal is the same. While your limbs are moving, the core, the pelvis is very stable. You can move your arms and legs at the same time, opposite arm, opposite leg reach. The next exercise is a side plank, but not just a boring static side plank. We want to explore all the different motions of the obliques, how they side bend, how they assist in twisting and resisting extension or arching. I want to get to know them a little bit more in depth. So move around a little bit, try dropping your heel towards the ground. Sometimes tight obliques can be part of scoliosis or kind of lateral pelvic tilt, lateral pelvic hip hike. Then moving on to some glute exercises. Glutes are important for hip stability in the gait cycle when you're running, when you're walking, when you're lunging, standing, single leg squats. So we want to train those outer glutes to learn how to stabilize the pelvis a lot better than maybe they normally do. So we do leg flutters or rotations. You should feel this all in the lateral part of your leg, of your glute. And this is super important because hip injuries like FAI, knee injuries, IT band problems, and even foot and ankle problems can be attributed to weak glutes, especially on the lateral side. So do these flutters or these twists to train the outer glute. And people often ask me, do I have to do these simple planks and simple exercises forever? No, the point is to integrate them into more difficult, complex patterns like deadlifting, or how do you use your glutes during other mobility training that you may be doing. The point is not to keep it simple and easy the whole time. You start with simple and then you integrate it into complex. So moving on to working on some of these deep core muscles, which there are several. You can think of them as kind of like a steel can, and you have to learn how to brace and pressurize that can properly. So we flatten our back to the mat, like you're smushing a rose petal, and we bring our knees up, and then we tap one heel at a time. These are called heel taps or dead bugs, and although they look simple, if you're really stabilizing those deep core muscles, I call it the deep muscles under the belly button, then it'll be quite difficult actually. So we progress from one leg to two, and these dead bugs are some of my favorite core exercises to learn a lot of things. Bracing, rib positioning, how to breathe under tension without beating up your spine too much, because a lot of core exercises have a lot of shear or compression forces. So do your dead bugs. Once you progress to tapping your heels farther and farther away from your body, things will get much more difficult. You're going to feel like you're losing that smushed feeling under your low back. So fight to maintain that flat back. And then progressing to hollow body lowers, starting to get into some gymnastics core training. You can progress to hollow body rocks, where you're trying to maintain that posterior pelvic tilt and that slightly rounded back position while there's more movement going on. In fact, this is one of the basic shapes in gymnastics. The arch, the hollow is what you're practicing, but of course there's other shapes like the bridge, which you should practice as well. The bridge also incorporates a lot of this butt and gut, this glutes and core aspect to it. But then moving on to something still in the category of simple and easy, we have a braced core, a stable pelvis, and we're just sliding our foot along the ground and then squeezing the glutes. Just like the plank exercises, you can progress this into a more advanced bird dog variation, which Stuart McGill, who wrote several books on low back fitness and performance, is very fond of. But once again, we want to integrate these simple core exercises into how do you brace your core during pull-ups, during push-ups, during all kinds of different movement patterns like rows, etc., etc. And believe it or not, this actually mimics some really complex movement patterns like split jerks, where your arms and legs are moving and you have a braced, stable core in the middle. So all of these should be progressed. But if we're just focusing on hip health, we start with the simple and the easy, and we master it and are very, very precise so we don't harm our hips. The take-home message is this. Try out these new glute and core exercises, try to feel a deeper and subtler sense of stability and control, and then integrate this new stability and control into more complex patterns for better hip health. Enjoy.